We've opened up your faucets and we've opened up, especially me. I don't like taking a shower where the water goes drip, drip, drip onto my luxuriant hair. I need a lot of water. I need everything I can get. I don't need to be under a shower trying to get water to come out of that damn thing.
Donald Trump is currently celebrating his first 100 days in office, which doesn't make a lot of sense because what is there to celebrate? Nothing. And clearly Donald Trump himself knows that as well, because today he gave a speech at an Air National Guard base in Michigan, in which he didn't talk about his accomplishments because he doesn't have any. He didn't talk about the future because we don't know what it holds. He just rambled, which is what every Trump speech is at this point. And you could see how uncomfortable it made the troops behind him, because at one point when he tried to do a call in response, they kind of just looked around and fell silent, very confused with how confused Donald Trump was. And we are going to get into the complete disturbing mess that it was. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, this speech didn't just start out with Donald Trump, but also started out, unfortunately, with our Secretary of Defense, who had this to say.
Only because the Commander-in-Chief invited me. Mr. President, thank you for restoring the warrior ethos inside our formations, for rebuilding our military, reestablishing deterrence around the world, and making Americans proud to wear the uniform. That recruiting surge we're seeing right now is because they know they have a Commander-in-Chief that has their back. That's my message to these men and women every single place we go. All I ever wanted when I was in combat was to know that my commander had my back, no matter what. And with Donald J. Trump, that commander has your back. And that means something to the men and women of America, and that's why we're seeing a record surge in recruiting. That's why we're locking down our southern border. That's why our enemies know we mean business, because we have a Commander-in-Chief that has our back, and he has the back of this base as well. God bless you all. Thank you.
I don't know in what world the guy who referred to our service members as suckers and losers and is currently gutting the VA makes anyone prouder of our military than President Biden did, especially when our current Secretary of Defense is a DUI hire who cares more about his makeup than he does our troops. I don't know what Pete Hegseth is trying to say with his pretend ruhaha, his fake patriotism, but it's not playing. And speaking of not playing, Donald Trump's brain clearly wasn't when he tried to read a little bit of his speech. Didn't go too well.
Very soon we will replace the retiring A-10 Warthogs with 21 brand new F-15EX Eagle II fighter jets, the best in the world, fresh off the line.
So this is the guy who's supposed to make us proud. Our Secretary of Defense is sharing secrets on Signal. Our president's brain doesn't work, and we're supposed to get real excited about the state of our national security. Yeah, I don't think so. And as Donald Trump always does, when he knows his back is up against the wall, when he is flailing, when he is fearful of the public's anger towards him, he goes back to playing the hits. He started attacking President Biden.
For generations, the men and women of Selfridge have always been here, and they've always been for us. Whether you're Republican or you're Democrat, they've always been for us. They've been for America. And under the Trump administration, we're going to be there for you. The previous administration was willing to surrender Air National Guard fighter units across the country by retiring aircraft that were not being replaced. We are replacing. But under the Trump administration, we're correcting that injustice, and that starts right here in Michigan, where we have a big commitment to Michigan and to the state, even beyond this.
President Biden ended one of the forever wars that Donald Trump says that he is against while claiming he wants to invade Mexico, the Panama Canal, Canada, Greenland. And also, can we not return to the gutting of the VA? Joe Biden expanded veterans' benefits for those affected by toxic burn pits. Donald Trump is gutting the VA. It's just that clear. I don't know who would think that this man is a patriot, but they need to get their brain checked and probably their water bottle because it's full of whiskey. I'm referring to Pete Hegseth, of course, here. But Donald Trump continued in this very, very crazy and uncomfortable speech in which he started talking about an iron dome that he wants to build, something that always comes up with Donald Trump. And when he started asking the troops behind him about it, they were just confused.
We're going to call it the Golden Dome. We had the Iron Dome, but somehow Gretchen, Golden Dome sounds better to me. I don't know. Maybe it's not. What do you like better, Golden Dome or Iron Dome? What do you like better? Golden. Let's have a vote. Golden Dome. Oh no, I think we're in trouble. Oh. How about the Iron Dome? Good. Keep it. That's good. Because we made all the changes already. It'll be a little bit. Even the renderings look very golden, but beautiful. No, it's going to be incredible. The latest and the greatest. A lot of it's going to be made in Michigan. A lot of it is going to be made the Golden Dome. You know, other countries have it. In particular, Israel has it, and we have a much more advanced, and theirs is very good. We helped do it. We did it, but we have an advanced version now that really is incredible. What it does. We had a case study of 169. Out of 169, every one of them just shut down. And I think we're entitled to it, don't you? I think we're entitled to it as a country.
You can see that the troops are like, is he talking to us? Is he asking us about colors? Like, we're here to keep people safe, to defend freedoms. Is he talking about gold? And you can see the looking around, but everyone's also quiet. They just don't want to respond. And even in the second Guon, when it's clearly supposed to be a call-in response, everyone is just dead silent, just confused. They looked off in the distance and someone started clapping. I think it might have been Pete Hegseth trying to be like, please don't let my boss hate me. I'm already on such thin ice. Just clap for him. It's all he wants. He just wants to be praised. This is nonsensical. This shows how Donald Trump views our military. He doesn't care or respect it. He just views it as another tool, another extension of talking about how much he likes gold and you know how great he is and people to praise him. That's pretty much it. But the praise has not been there lately, as we all know, when Jessica Tarlov talked about that with just how bad things are going for Donald Trump poll-wise in this clip right here.
I do. I do a lot. The American public knows exactly what's going on, and that's why they're soundly rejecting this administration. He has the lowest approval rating of any president of the last 70 years for the first 100 days. His stock market for the first 100 days is the lowest since Nixon. Unprecedented low foreign policy approval rating and economic approval rating. The American public is smart enough to know that their shelves, if they're not already empty, are going to be empty because of tariffs. 69% say he's not focused enough on lowering prices. 62% focus too much on tariffs. 72% think his policies will cause a recession. 64% disapprove of how he's handling inflation. He continues to beat a drum that is making the absolute worst economic music I have ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, it is unsurprising that people are not thrilled with the current state of our country and the madman that we have as a president who is losing his mind on the daily and making everyone around him incredibly uncomfortable. That goes for his cabinet. That goes for his staffers. That goes for us all. Donald Trump's poll numbers are a reflection of the incompetence, chaos, and corruption that are constant in his administration. And even those in his administration understand that. Even Republicans do. Even the Fox propaganda outlet does. And that was made very clear by one voter who appeared on Fox today and had this to say about Donald Trump's illegal immigration plan.
I think that there is not a single person that we can look to in the Democratic Party right now to say that that's our leader. However, with that being said, I think taking the one person who's there over a party is also quite dangerous because of some of the things that he's done. Taking away due process from folks is not okay. He's quick to call out when he feels like his rights are being infringed upon, and yet the Fifth Amendment says that every person, it doesn't specify citizens, it says every person shall have due process.
So we don't guarantee constitutional rights to certain illegal aliens, particularly when they are suspected of violent crimes, which is why we have a finalized deportation list. And it's pretty clear. And I think some of the cases that are public now, individuals were on that. So where are you saying that due process? I mean, to even get to that point, they must have gone through process.
Due process. Okay, so let's look at President Trump as an example. We call him a felon because he has been convicted of felonies. Some of these folks, without the actual due process, do not technically qualify as illegal immigrants because they have never had their cases heard. Now,
well, wait,
with
how
that
did they
being
get
said,
here is the question.
That's fine. But, you know, there's, just like we say when someone is allegedly being accused of something, it's the same process, right? However they got here, due process is what gives them that status of being illegal or not. So without that process, you're essentially just taking up people off of the streets, giving them this without their actual process and deporting them. Now, am I saying some of these people should not have been deported? No.
Do we agree that if you come across our border in an illegal manner that you have committed your first crime?
I believe you are entitled to due process.
Of all the craziness of this administration, when we're just talking about the public-facing perception of Donald Trump, two things have really stood out to me first. The inability of his administration to find some cogent or coherent message on tariffs. I know Donald Trump is a very stupid person. I know he doesn't understand what the word tariff means. But the fact that they haven't presented some end goal, some solution, some reason that tariffs are beneficial in a meaningful way just shows how incompetent they are. The chaos happening at the whims of Donald Trump, that's the first thing. The second, the fact that he is able and was able to turn his best issue, his most positive issue in immigration, which never should have been a positive for Donald Trump, into a negative, into a thing people distrust him on, is shocking. It just shows how bad things have gotten and how quickly they have gotten so bad. And I return to this point because I think it is important for Democrats to realize, sure, Donald Trump is historic and his ability to screw things up, but with the right pressure and with the right messaging, we can turn an issue that should be turned. Democrats should be the ones with a positive perception from the public on how we handle immigration. We can be presenting a positive alternative that does not include depriving people of their due process, but instead fixes a system that has been broken for decades. That is what we have the opportunity to do, to take this issue away from Republicans who don't care about it. They just want to talk about it. They just want to fear-monger about it. We have that ability, and we're going to be trying to do so on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.